Despite its history as being an isolated country, Japan has had many an influence by an outside nation, most notably by us. You cannot understate the effect that American media has had on the world at large. From all corners of the globe, you can find vestiges of American television, film, even sports and gaming. And of all the non-English speaking nations, no one has embraced this quite like the Japanese. But we're not the only influence that Japan has shown. There's China, especially in regards to its folklore and mythology, and strangely enough, also Germany. Well, maybe not strange, considering historical events, but it has to be said that Germany has had a real, tangible effect on Japanese media. Look no further than the eternal albatross across my neck, Evangelion, for proof positive of this. This sort of influence can sprout up in the most unexpected places, like a space opera, for example. This space opera specifically. Yes, we're talking about God's gift to anime, Harlock again, but this time in his own actual series, instead of the barely there cameo he had in Galaxy Express 39. Sounds incredible, right? No, actually, it isn't. Yes, I know how this sounds, and believe me, I wish it weren't so, but there's no getting around it. Harlock Saga is kind of shit. Okay, it is shit, actually, and a horrible kind of shit. The frustrating kind of shit. From start to finish, the only feeling that the show leaves you with, besides boredom, is that this could have been better. And by all rights, it should have been better. And yet, here we are, about to dive into a disappointing waste of time. Harlock, you know I love you, but after this review, you'll understand why you're sleeping on the couch tonight. If you're at all familiar with Wagner, then you'll immediately recognize what the anime is up to right off the bat, what with the first episode being called The Rheingold. For those of you who are not... Alright, crash course time. The Rheingold is an opera, and first part of Wagner's magnum opus, The Ring of the Nibelung. It tells the story of the dwarf Alberic, who steals away gold that was guarded by 3 maidens. Told that if shaped into a ring, it would bestow upon the bearer the power to rule the world at the cost of renouncing love, Alberic jumps at the chance, having been spurned by the 3 maidens. Meanwhile, the ruler of the gods Wotan is negotiating the price of a castle built by 2 giants, Fasolt and Fafnir. Seems that Wotan promised them his sister-in-law Freya for a job well done, and he's having cold feet about paying the bill. And that the only thing they'd accept as payment, if not the goddess of love and beauty, is Alberic's ring along with the treasure of the Nibelung. So Wotan sends his faithful servant Loki to trick Alberic out of his ring and riches that he has gained from enslaving his fellow dwarves. Despondent from losing his ring and treasure, Alberic places a curse on the ring, stating that whoever doesn't have it shall covet it, and whoever has it will be filled with dread that someone will kill them and take it for themselves. You know, like on console release night and you're walking back to your car. As they present the treasure, the giants demand Wotan to give them the ring, but overcome by the curse, Wotan refuses. But in a very literal Deus Ex Machina turn, Erda the Earth Goddess compels Wotan to give up the ring, stating the danger behind the curse. Nerving up, he relinquishes the ring and the giants fight over possession of it. The gods make their way to their new castle, dubbed Valhalla by Wotan, save for Loki, who knows that the gods' time is ending, what would be Wagner's final part, Götterdämmerung. And that was just the first part! The entire ring cycle takes 15 hours to sit through, which is exactly how long Harlock Saga feels. And yet still somehow shorter than Peter Jackson's entire Tolkien anthology. We begin, slowly, I might add, with Harlock's best friend Tochiro and Emeraldus investigating an abandoned asteroid city, looking for any clues as to the whereabouts of their navigator, I suppose, Mime. I say I suppose because they mentioned that she was supposed to guide them somewhere, and when she disappeared, she left them in trouble, but it's never expanded upon. Instead, they find a holographic projection of her, and she states that she disappeared because bandits were on their way to steal the mystical Rheingold, and she feels compelled to protect it along with the maidens. Tochiro and Emeraldus race to where the Rheingold is kept, but it's too late. The bandits have already taken it, and Alberic heads to Earth to find someone who can forge him the ring. Thankfully, Harlock appears out of nowhere and saves the 3 before the absence of the gold causes the planet to be hit by a number 4 caster shell. And that was the first episode. Yes, I'm serious. That's all that happens. So, how do they fit a sentence's worth of plot into a 30-minute long episode? Redundancy, my friend.
The gold The Rheingold is about to be taken by bandits.
The Rheingold? Mime, are you talking about the gold at the center of the universe?
That's right, the Rheingold. It is the center of the universe, the essence of time. It rules the universe. Those bandits took the gold from this place, and their only intention is to keep it for themselves. The ring that's made from the Rheingold possesses the power to control the whole universe. My brother Alberic plans to use this power to invade Valhalla. Because the Rheingold has fallen into the hands of my brother, and because a ring was created from that gold.
Now I know what you're thinking. And don't worry, I'm here to alleviate all your fears and anxieties. This regurgitating of exposition that we already know doesn't happen through most of the anime. It happens through all the anime. All 2.5 hours of it. There is no escape. What's worse is that the anime expects the viewer to be familiar with these characters, as it makes no attempt to ease the audience into the world or the characters. It spends an exorbitant amount of time going over and over about what's going on, but never stops to go on about who it's happening to. I mean, yeah, who doesn't know about our Lord and Savior Harlock, but if you somehow manage to avoid his grace and magnificence, you'd be so lost right now.
Just remember this, Mime. You are not alone. Harlock, Tochiro, and I are with you. We are a team, and we will always be here for you.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, but I must return now to my own ship, the Queen Emeraldus.
You just said that you're gonna be there for her 10 seconds ago, and now you're bailing on her. Oh, and she never comes back either, so yeah, you're full of shit, Emeraldus. But back to the plot, if we must use the word. The three figure that the only person who has the ability to refine the Rheingold into a ring is a smith on Earth. And they sent for freaking Maytel here to tell, okay, that's just plainly the ragamuffin from Galaxy Express 39. They didn't even try to hide it. Fuck it, whatever. She tells Ragamuffin II here to not, under any circumstances, forge the ring. So what does he do? Forge the ring. He's ambushed by the bandits, wakes up in his factory without knowing how he got there, sees this obviously evil-looking dude in front of him who asks him to do the thing that he was explicitly told not to do, and he does it.
This is a holy treasure, the purest gold in the universe. Obviously, a novice like you couldn't forge a ring out of it.
You're wrong. I can do it. I mean, I could.
Ah, come on! Albrecht might as well have just said, "What are you, chicken?" And all because Ragamuffin is the Rock's stupidest, most insecure dickwad shitheel. He forges the ring and endangers the entire universe. And what does he get for payment? A bullet. Good! That's what you get, you fucking tool! A brand new hole for you to bleed out of! God damn, that was satisfying. Oh, wait, what the fuck? He's alive?
Lucky for you, kid, that you were wearing that bulletproof vest.
Fuck you and this cop-out bullshit. This little bastard deserves more than a bullet to the chest, and you're gonna deprive us of even that? And that's not even the worst of it. From here on out, this fuckstick does absolutely nothing. You're probably thinking that this is all just a means for him to fix his stupid mistake, but nope, he doesn't fix a goddamn thing. All he does is join the adventure and ask stupid questions and does fuck all. How do you fuck this up? Let's think about this in terms of mythology and classic literature, because we've already established that this anime was based off an opera that was based off Nordic myths. The stories that are told are often reliant on characters not making decisions based on sound reasoning. Gods are capricious and jealous and are constantly making their own lives and the lives of those around them hellacious for what amounts to little reason, if any at all. Even Shakespeare's stories suffer from this exact kind of structure in writing. How many stories did he pen where the crux of the conflict and dramatic tension came from either a foolish decision made by a foolish character, or just plain pure coincidence? King Lear, Romeo and Juliet, freaking Titus Andronicus. But in every single one of these instances, there is at least some semblance of karmic punishment. that what has happened has caused events to unfurl that the characters have to persevere through, or not, in a tragic turn. They don't throw their hands up in the air and go, whoopsie daisy! Not only that, we forgive these faults in the stories because they're paired with graceful language, or, in Wagner's case, some of the greatest classical music ever composed. We don't call Shakespeare the greatest of all writers because he wrote a story where a king, pissed off that he couldn't marry a general's daughter, instead marries a barbarian queen to spite him. No, we call him the greatest of all writers because he wrote lines like this.
Tut, I have done 1,000 dreadful things, as willingly as one would kill a fly. And nothing grieves me heartily indeed, but that I cannot do 10,000 more.
But with the absence of such writing and Wagner's music only piping in every once in a while to no other reaction than eye-rolling, there's nothing to help this lame duck story. All it is our characters walking around talking about things we already know for 2.5 hours. Where was I? Right. So Fuckwad here joins the crew of the Arcadia. He's so dazzled and awestruck by Harlock's ungodly charisma points that he immediately has no regrets leaving the world behind. As they leave, Mime finally clues everyone in and states that her brother is Albric, and he intends to start Götterdämmerung with the gods of Valhalla, who have woken now that the gold has been taken. You'd think that now that Wotan is woken from his Odin sleep, we can finally have a plot?
And once again, this is all because the Rhine gold was stolen by the brother of Mime.
Even worse, he dared to make a ring out of that gold.
But nope, they're all as idiotic and redundant as everyone else in this frickin' cast. Distraught, Wotan Torpedo summons Mime and the Arcadia to him. And why he couldn't do this for Albric? One ring to rule them all, I guess. Actually, now that I mention it, J.R.R. Tolkien took a lot from the opera when he wrote his Lord of the Rings trilogy. Besides the whole cursed ring aspect, he also lifted a dragon protecting a large treasure, the whole aspect of an artifact making its wearer invisible. With him, it was the One Ring, but in the opera, it was a helmet, and I'm just stalling for time, aren't I? The Arcadia crashes near Valhalla, where Freya is kept by Wotan, who, if you'll remember my synopsis, promised her to these giants, this time for the completion of Wotan's Death Star, with which he hopes to protect himself from Albric. Which begs the question, if he was in Odin sleep until Albric took the gold, how did he and the giants have enough time to build a literal Death Star? Well, it's kind of explained that Mime and Freya keep time from flowing in Valhalla, and when Mime stopped to join the Arcadia, time began to set in. This was sort of in the opera, but in there, it was that Freya's golden apples kept the denizens of Valhalla timeless. But that still doesn't explain the time lapse between Wotan waking up and where we are now. I cannot impart upon you enough just how much nothing I am cutting through right now. There are hours of scenes of nothing but our characters standing around like idiots, talking about shit we already know. I should be getting a medal for this. A key to the city, something! Albric finally arrives at the gates of Valhalla, shiny, but gold, and decimates Wotan's outer defenses. Luckily, the Arcadia manages to pick up both Freya and Mime and make off towards the Death Star, where the giants welcome them against Wotan's wishes since they're carrying Freya. At his wit's end, and with Albric knocking on his front door, Wotan has no choice but to listen to Harlock's silver tongue as he calmly explains that he's been an asshole, and he's gonna save his sorry ass, and the entire fucking universe, because he's motherfucking Captain Harlock! And he does just that. It takes nearly 2 hours for Harlock to do what he does best, and it's still weak sauce. He boards his ship and just randomly finds Albric wandering around the halls and shoots him once before taking the ring like it's the briefcase in GoldenEye. He leaves Albric behind, who dies a swallowing death inside a collapsing Death Star, and the Arcadia, Mime, and Freya all live happily ever after. That's the best I can do. What you just watched was my best and most earnest attempt to tell you all just how awful this anime is. It is the most dull, listless, vacuous title I've ever seen for Anime Abandon. This has no right being as long and tedious as it is, and every minute spent watching this fuckkeep is like spending an hour doing mindless data entry. It is more boring than Galaxy Express 39. It's more boring than Iria. It's more boring than freaking Odin. If I went by which anime title I would never want to see again, then Harlock Saga may be the worst anime I have ever seen. At least in my current headspace. I didn't think it was possible to be worse than boring, but I stand corrected. Being bored to aggravation is way worse than just being bored. Holy Christ. Oh, I need a break. And something positive for a change. I'll see you all in October, and believe you me, things are going to look a whole lot brighter. Till next time. He literally challenges, like, you probably couldn't have done it anyways. Like, no, I could do it. I could forge that.
I can forge this ring. You can't forge that ring.
I could forge this ring. You can't forge that ring. I need to find a way to put that in a review somehow.
You do.
Long live your Lord High Regent Sage! Long live Benetopia!